Here we have some lovely gold, some silver as well in varying forms. We've got bullion, of course, and we've got some jewelry here just to, you know, show you something interesting. Because the big question is, how do you know what you're buying from a bullion dealer is the genuine thing? And what I'm going to title this video is why every bullion dealer should have an XRF machine. Hey everyone, it's Joe and
Michael
from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au, selling you the best bullion bars and coins shipped to you worldwide from
Melbourne, Australia.
Hey, he's got the tagline. Fantastic. So the question is, why should every bullion dealer have an XRF machine? Let's ask the big question first. What the hell is an XRF machine?
So an XRF machine, or an X-ray fluorescence machine, is a machine that will test the purity of your gold or your silver or any other of the metals that are on the periodic table.
All right. And the main purpose, well, the purpose for having one in a bullion dealer is
purely to check purity, to make sure you know what you're getting is actually what you think it is.
Fantastic. And that's not only when you're buying from us, but I would also imagine as well, let's just say there's people have done, let's say on Silver Stackers, they've done, you know, a face-to-face transaction, or they bought something from another mint, a bullion dealer, or from anywhere around the world. If they want to come in and they've got a few coins, maybe not like a whole bucket load of them, but if a customer wants to come in and just test the stuff they already have, they don't have to buy from us, are they welcome to come in and we can use the machine?
Definitely.
Great.
Definitely.
Fantastic. So let's take a quick look at the beast. So this is in its, I think this is in its cradle at the moment, right?
It is.
Okay, cool. So it actually, as you can see here, because it's got a trigger and a handle, etc., it's actually portable, so it can come out and it, you know, looks like a gun as such. Do you want to? Okay, why not?
Comes out as a gun.
All right, excellent.
Case comes off. So
Very
it's fully
cool.
portable, so we can take it on tour when we go to Silver Stackers meetings or anything along that. So we can take it along and test whatever people have there at different times.
Fantastic. And the basic function is it shoots radiation, so X-ray.
It does.
Radiation, very low level. But you know, still you don't want to, you know, we went through all the safety procedures. You don't want to put your hand over it and all that sort of stuff while you're doing the testing, because it is low level, but still it's, you know, an amount. And then it measures, as you were saying before, what particular elements are in the thing that you're testing, whether it's metal or, you know, this, you know, iPod or whatever. It just measures the elements. So in precious metals industry, we're looking for, you know, sort of particular things that we need to see. So let's start off with something maybe very stock standard. Do you want to start with that one there?
So the XAU.
Okay. XAU. Oh, that's a particular brand, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So this should be a bullion bar, so it should be 99.99% what?
Gold.
Gold, and the elemental symbol is?
AU.
Ah, hence the XAU right there.
It is.
So let's pop it on the machine,
So
on the
this is
XRF.
produced by a local Melbourne manufacturer.
Now we have it connected. We could do it in one of two ways. We could either hit the trigger, but when we've got it connected up to the laptop, we can use the laptop for that. So we just need to log in to there, and we'll take a look at some other stuff as well. We've got silver bars here and some other coins, and we'll go through some different options and that jewelry as well. So we're logged in now. Let's hit the button.
Hit the button. So it does a test over about 10 seconds. We can vary it, and the longer it does the test, the more accurate it becomes.
Right.
So it's currently shooting X-rays or radiation into the bar itself.
Yep.
It's exciting the little electrons in there, and then as those electrons release the energy, they put off a certain signature, and each signature is unique to whatever element it is measuring.
There you go.
So in this case, it has come through with the element AU. It's 99.99% AU, and that's within an accuracy of 0.8.
Which is very accurate.
Which is very accurate.
Fantastic.
Yeah, with a lot of bars and things like that, this one will read the same, but quite often we take 2 or 3 measurements just to make sure that that they've been stirred correctly, that it's not a single spot.
So you've flipped that.
I have.
Okay.
So it's not a single spot that's gold, and the rest of it's, you know, only 80% gold or anything like that.
Sure.
So we will take a couple of measurements, and you can see now that it's 99.99.
Yep.
On the other side as well.
Fantastic. Good. All right. So that's your stock standard bullion gold bar.
Yep.
No problem. What else do you want to try next?
Well, why don't we try one? We've got an Engelhardt bar here, but we'll leave it in plastic, so it's actually in a little bag.
My assumption, and I'm sort of leading the witness here, but my assumption here is you're going to see some kind of other elements. Whatever the hell plastic has in it, you're going to see something in there, I'd imagine.
Maybe.
All right, let's find
see
out.
what happens.
Okay. So far, nothing. So what, we run it for about 10 seconds?
Run it for 10 seconds.
Okay. So far, nothing else. And
so
in 10 seconds is done. Okay.
In this case, because the bag's so thin, it can actually see through this bag.
Okay.
So there's no impurities on the bag that's picking up in metals or anything along those sort of lines.
Right.
So that's actually, in a little lunch bag like that, that's exactly what we'd expect to see.
Okay, cool.
However, in a thicker plastic, such as this, or one that has possibly had hung out at a mint or a refinery, that's where we start to strike some problems. So why don't we'll load this one up.
Yep.
Obviously that's just a Lunar Pig from the Perth Mint.
Yes, correct.
And
the brand of this, just out of interest, is called an Olympus.
Yes.
A couple of different brands. I think there's Thermo as well. Is that right? Something like that. The yellow ones that you see.
Yeah.
I've seen them on the. I've seen them on those.
Said that now and I've gone blank.
Oh, it's okay. Something like that.
Okay, so we can already see this one's picking up some odd things. So it's got what we'd expect it to have, which is silver, but not in the purity. We know that the Perth Mint stuff is 99.99.
Yes.
But this one's only picking it up at 99.3.
Now, do you think that would? I've had people be a little bit concerned with that in the beginning until you explain the following.
So we can see it's also showing their palladium and zinc in very small quantities. So what that probably is some form of impurity on the outside of the plastic.
Right.
So whether that be that someone's had it on their hands and they've handled it, whether it's sat in a box that's had platinum or palladium, impurities there or whatever, for some reason it's picked up that impurity.
Gotcha.
So if this was anything else, in this case I won't do it because it's a collector's item, but if it was anything else, what I'd actually do is I'd get my little magic glove out.
Okay.
I'd open the case, and then we'd try it straight metal to metal, and we'd run the test, and we'd actually find that it would come through at 99.99 in this case.
Okay, fantastic.
Or in this example, I should say, not in this case.
Sure. What else do you want to test here?
So we've got other things that... let's actually stay with the cases for a second.
Okay.
The Certi cards are one that people quite often query.
Yes.
Because the advantage of the Certi card is that you can see if this has been tampered with, if it's been opened at all, and that shows that maybe this isn't as pure as it should be.
Right.
So if we had to open the Certi card to prove that it's pure,
then you're breaking the thing.
It defeats the purpose. So fortunately, Perth Mint's recognise that, and so has PAMP with theirs. Where if we actually run it through, and we'll do the test, if you run it through inside its plastic container, you will actually see, hopefully, that it comes through
the same,
99.99. So you can actually see through that plastic.
Okay, that's good.
And they're very careful; they don't put any impurities on it or anything like that.
That's with this particular machine. Some other bullion dealers may have some people I worked for another company once that had an older machine, so one of the the older versions, and when we did put those in the XRF, we did see some other elements come up. So it's more of the newer versions, and this is the brand spanking new version of that particular brand of Olympus. It's the new one. How much did it cost us roughly?
$27.
Great.
27,000.
Wow. Okay, cool. And that was the latest version, so that actually does cut through the plastic, and you you shouldn't get the extra elements with the Certi card packaging. But just be aware, if you're going to another dealer, if you do see some other elements when testing a Certi card, don't assume it's something's wrong. It's just because we do have the latest sort of greatest version.
And look, on that, I would hesitate to ever transact with a dealer who doesn't have an XRF.
That's what maybe the alternate title of this video should have been why you should never deal with a bullion dealer who doesn't have one, or something like that.
In my opinion, it's just that the copies these days are so good, and and the chances are small, but when you're buying an ounce of gold or a few ounces of gold or collector coins or things like that, it's really important that you actually know and have confidence in what you're getting, because you may not necessarily bring it back to that dealer. You might take it to another dealer. You buy it from somewhere else, you walk in here and I look at it and go, yeah, I'm not so sure. I put it on the XRF and say, look mate, I'm really sorry, but it's only 60% gold.
Yep.
What are you going to do?
Yep.
So I strongly encourage you to, I'm not saying that all bullion dealers that don't have one are corrupt or anything along those sort of lines, but I'm saying for your peace of mind, I would suggest that only dealing with someone who has an XRF, or if you're dealing privately, face to face, whether it be through a forum or any of those sorts of things, I would suggest getting access to one of these fairly, preferably before you hand over your hard-earned cash, but even very soon afterwards, get that item tested at somewhere like we are. As Joe said right at the start, we encourage you to swing in and test. If you buy a couple of ounces of gold or a couple of coins of silver, bring them in, and we're quite happy to test a few.
Yeah, and I think as I said before, we don't want to make this little office the meeting place for everyone to do their trades, right? So it's like, we'll have tens of thousands of people through the door just to test stuff. But if you're on a forum and you've seen, I want to buy this, and they happen to live in Melbourne, for example, it's like, hey, why don't we meet at Bullion Now? We'll quickly XRF the stuff, and I can prove to you that it's the real thing, and they can do the deal. Sort of, come in here, test it, and then they can go away and go somewhere else and do the deal. Completely happy to do that. Just don't bring in a truckload of stuff, because our time is money. So, is there anything else you wanted to pop on the XRF?
So look, we get some jewelry in here sometimes that people want tested. So I've just grabbed a couple of pieces out. So these look silver, but they could be white gold. They could be, they could be complete fakes. We get all sorts of funny things in here. So what we'll do is we'll throw this one on. We'll see what it comes up as. So we literally just dump it on. We then come back here. We run the test, and you can see there. Okay, it is silver. It's actually quite a high silver.
Great.
You can see there.
That's really high silver.
So 98% over. It's also got a little bit of copper in it. A little bit of indium in it. And just a small amount of zinc. So quite often with jewelry, we'll test in several different places. But this time, just for the video, we'll just do it the once there. We've got another one here, so we'll just drop that on. Have a quick look, see what's on that one. So again, slightly lower in silver there, a bit of copper, bit of zinc, and it looks like just a fraction of gold in it as well.
There you go. That's very much a fraction of a fraction. Okay, very cool.
And we can even test much smaller amounts. So I grabbed this one out, and it's actually for a reason I grabbed this little piece. So
my lord,
I don't know what it's a link off, but it's a link off something.
Wow, tiny.
So we'll put that on there.
Okay.
And it looks gold. And it certainly was.
Let me get my phone out. I don't want to get irradiated. I'm going to turn into radioactive man.
Okay, so when we do a test on it, you can see here, and this is the real advantage of XRFs. You can see that it's listed all its elements, including gold in there. But it comes up with this big warning at the top. Gold coating possible, investigate. So what it's saying is, look, I'm detecting gold, and you can actually see here, it's detecting a 14% almost, 14% gold, but it's saying, hang on a sec, I'm not detecting that the whole way through. There's a chance that this is just gold plated on the outside. So investigate further. And look, if that was a bar, and we have seen it in bars, we'd actually now take out a drill and we'd drill a hole in it. After we've got the owner's permission, of course. And we'd drill a hole in it, and then we'd actually X-ray right down into the hole. It would be able to see all the way through, and it would say either, yes, look, actually this is gold mixed with a whole lot of other things, it's just a low grade of it. Or alternatively, no, it's got tungsten in the middle, so its weight's right, but actually it's only the outside of it that's gold. So it's got that that self-check in there.
Fantastic. Now, is there anything else we need to cover before we sign off, etc.?
Yeah, look, there's also, we can go the other way. So what I wanted to do was show, I've got a couple of gold sovereigns here. So this one's a sovereign, and I've got a half sovereign. So we'd expect to see the sovereign at about 22 carat. So if we throw that on there, we'll actually see, and sovereigns are the classic example of things that have been copied. Now this one should be hopefully pure. So, not pure, would be hopefully 22 carat.
Yes,
and you can see there it's about the 92, which is what we'd expect.
So 92 is 22 carat.
Yeah, it's 22 carat.
92% is 22.
So that one would be fairly sure is actually a genuine sovereign.
Right.
The half sovereign here. So if we put the half sov on, now this half sov, and I'm actually cheating a little bit because I've actually tested this sov when it came in when we purchased it.
Okay.
Now this one's actually it's actually what we call a jeweler's copy, and these still are quite prevalent. This one's a slightly unusual jeweler's copy in that it actually has more gold in it than normal.
That's weird.
Normally they have less gold in them.
Well, of course
they
would.
Yeah, this one's actually got more gold in it. So
okay, that's strange.
Even your sovs, it's not a bad idea to bring them in because these are very frequently copied by jewelers, legitimately.
Right.
But also there's obviously forgeries out there as well.
Right.
So just because it looks real, and this one does, it actually fooled me until we ran it onto the XRF. You know, and this guy was quite happy that we XRF'd it because we actually paid him a little bit more for it because it had a higher percentage.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So of course, not only is having an XRF machine at a bullion dealer, it's good for the customer, but also the win-win. It's great for us too because anything that we buy back from a customer, we are going to pop through this baby. And the great thing about the machine, as we've said, you know, if it's something in a capsule, we know we can find out, you know, is it the genuine article or not.
Even if it's in plastics like that.
Okay.
You know, Perth mint capsules we've talked about.
Yep.
And even look, sometimes it's not a bad idea to run the older bars through. You know, this is quite an old bar.
That is a vintage.
It is.
That is a Kalgoorlie bullion exchange bar. According to allengelhard.com, there are less than 500 in existence.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, when one of these comes in, we don't take it at face value. We drop it on the XRF.
Absolutely.
And we make sure that it is what it says.
Of course.
So, and you can see there is a quick test.
Hit the button.
When I hit the button.
Oh no, we've blown. There we go.
There we go.
So
you can see there it's come through as pure silver.
Yep, fantastic, excellent.
So that's all we wanted to show. Well, all I wanted to show. I don't know if Joe's got anything else, but I do.
No.
Just going back one stage, I really can't overemphasize the fact that deal with someone who's got an XRF.
Yep.
When you're buying from a dealer, make sure they've got an XRF, and it's a fairly new one. Just because you just want peace of mind. When you're spending the sort of money that you spend on bullion, you just want that peace of mind there. And don't be frightened of saying, A, do you have one? And then B, even if it's a Perth mint bar, can I drop it on the XRF?
Sure.
Just to make sure it is what you say it is.
Fantastic. So I hope we've adequately explained why you should be dealing with bullion dealers that have XRF machines. We certainly have one. What an awesome plug for us. It's almost like we made the video in order to plug our services.
Well, no, we actually did it to educate people.
Of course we did.
Obviously, it's a bonus because we have one and we believe in it.
Of course, it's a win-win. So thanks again for watching. Of course, like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, hit the big red subscribe button on the YouTube, join the family, and that's it from Joe, and that's it from
Michael.
Take care, speak soon.
See ya.